Thank you very much. So, thank you for your discussion. It was very important for us. And believe me or not, it is almost the same discussion everywhere, no matter which country is. And the most dearest expression is, our mentality cannot stand mediation. And every country said that. So this is a thing that is human, as a colleague said. Mediation is an art of being human. And when you put humanity in the conflict, conflict vanished. Believe me or not. So, I'm a lucky one. Why? Because I can mediate in my court and I can mediate outside of the court. And beside of my judge position, I can mediate, and I have huge practice right now, and I know it works. It works amazingly, not in all cases, but in many cases. So, this is, of course, process. And of course, you need more support. But the idea of this seminar is to start to think, what you can do right now by yourself without waiting any changes or laws or support of the others. What can we do right now, from tomorrow, in your courtrooms? We as judges, we do like complain to anything. But please try to be open right now, or these 2 days. We are all colleagues. Everything will stay here. And let's start to talk really what we are doing every day. What are the problems? What can we do? And let's start to talk how the parties see us, look on us. We really don't think about this. We just see ourselves. And I like expression. Whenever we think that the problem is outside of us, we are in the problem. So, please, let's start to think, what can we do to solve the problem, if there is a problem? So, I would like to ask you at the beginning, just one simple question, and try please to answer shortly. Why are you here today and tomorrow? All of you. Why did you come, why did you apply for this seminar?
Tocmai pentru a cunoaște mai bine cum aș putea găsi alternativa ca părțile să nu se mai judece și a cunoaște tehnicile pentru a ajunge la acest rezultat.
Okay, thank you.
Pentru că am specializare de drept comercial și pentru că este o temă extrem de disputată și doar prin discuții poate fi rezolvată în final și aplicată.
Thank you.
Pentru că cred că instituția medierii este utilă, dar este nevoie de o adaptare, cred că, a mentalității noastre, dar și o informare a celorlalți.
Thank you.
Pentru că am fost cândva preocupată de posibilitatea diminuării numărului de litigii prin această modalitate alternativă de soluționare, pentru că nu am văzut rezultate în concret și am crezut că venind aici o să găsesc totuși din nou, o să realizez din nou importanța medierii și, mă rog, să înțeleg cum poate să ajute sistemul judiciar această procedură.
Thank you.
Pentru a afla informații despre mediere și despre aplicarea ei practică și despre modalitatea de a direcționa părțile spre această modalitate de soluționare a conflictelor.
Am ales acest curs pentru a învăța ce pot să fac eu ca judecător în legătură cu medierea, cum pot să mă implic eu și cum pot să ajut părțile în calitatea mea de judecător să ajungă la o soluție.
Thank you.
Pentru a afla din experiența altora și mai ales din alte țări cu privire la acest domeniu, care la noi nu a avut prea multe rezultate, cel puțin până acum. Mulțumesc.
Thank you.
Pentru a dobândi noi cunoștințe și pentru a vedea cum funcționează în țările din care veniți noastră.
Thank you.
Pentru a încerca să găsesc soluții cât mai bune de rezolvare a litigiilor, pentru a ajunge să fim mulțumiți și noi ca judecători și justițiabili.
Thank you.
Am venit cu intenția de a fi un mediator, de a învăța să fiu mediator, de a învăța tehnici de mediere, pur și simplu, să fiu mediator. Pentru asta.
Thank you.
Cred în capacitatea judecătorului român de a fi și judecător și mediator și cred în viitorul activității de mediere că va duce la soluționarea multor conflicte și la simplificarea activității în instanțe și în ultima instanță pentru că, într-adevăr, și eu îmi doresc să fiu și mediator.
Thank you.
Eu personal îmi doresc să obțin un atestat de mediator, chiar vreau să urmez cursurile de mediator. Este o idee care mă încearcă mai de mult.
Sunt interesată de starea medierii în România și sunt și de soluționarea amiabilă a proceselor, de cum se pot împăca părțile fără ca statul să își impună voința asupra acestora.
Pentru a afla ce șanse sunt pentru mediatori la ora actuală în România și ce posibilități ar fi, ce s-ar putea schimba împărtășind din experiența altor state, altor țări, pentru că până la ora actuală, soțul meu fiind mediator, pot să vă spun că medierea nu funcționează absolut, aproape deloc, așa. Iar în situația în care s-ar reuși ca această profesie să funcționeze, să existe persoane care apelează la mediere, cred că ar fi un mare câștig pentru instanțele de judecată, care ar fi degrevate în bună parte de o supraaglomerare de cauze.
All of you are open to the idea, and I like to say you are not here by accident. You are here with your free will and with your curiosity and interest, and that's good for start. So if you ask me why I am in this mediation, I have a lot of stories, but I like two very much. It's kind of funny. I met mediation for the first time at 2000 in Montreal, Canada, Quebec. And there was 15 judges, Croatian judges, 3 weeks to be introduced of Canadian judiciary system. And two subjects was amazing for me. One was mediation, and another one was conduction of judges in the courtroom. The first one, mediation, the lady judge in a red dress came to the room with the smile, and her personality fulfilled whole room. And she started to talk about mediation. And I said, wow, this is something amazing. All that picture and mediation too. And it was the beginning of changing myself. I didn't know anything before. I was a strict, formal judge, without smiling, as you said, without mimic on my face, sometimes pretty rude, and overuse my power. So think about that we have so big power over people, and we don't need to overuse it because it's still here. And when we are talking about the parties, start to think that the most important persons in our courtrooms are parties, not we, not lawyers. Have you realized that you were talking all the time, but not only you, all judges, about lawyers? Lawyers rule with us, instead we rule with them. I know it's easier with over 50 and with gray hair and with more experience. But who is the master of the courtroom? The judge. So, what it means, fear of recusation. What it means, fear of how people will react on my smile. Smile can open all doors in the world. Why I would fear of the smile? Why I would fear of being human? Why you are so nice people, amazing people? Why you change yourself when you go to your courtroom and sit at the bench? And why you become someone else? Put the mask of the judge, and now we are supreme beings. We are trained to do like this, and we don't know the other. And this is the time to do something differently. So, at my beginning of my judging, I was also thinking that I was a very important person. And my wife didn't share that opinion, my opinion, of my importance. And after the 2 years of my judging, I asked her, you know, I do something important in the society, and you never ask me what I'm doing. She said, okay, give me one of your decisions. And I picked one. I was very proud on it at that time. And she started to read, first page, come to the second, and then throw my decision on table, and she said, I don't want to read this. I don't understand a word. It was total shock for me. My best decision doesn't understand highly educated person. What I am doing, for whom I am doing. Do you know for whom we are doing? For upper court judges. Only for them. We are fear of them, we are fear of lawyers, we are fear of inspections, and inspections are sitting only judges. Why we are fear of them? So it's right time to stop fear of anything or anybody. There is no lawyer who can impress me except with the knowledge, with the professionalism, with the taking care of his, her party. So, from now on, please, think about it. You are the masters, and you are setting the tone and behavior in your courtrooms. And if we continue to act like not humans, just strict formal beings with the mask number 5, nothing will change, nothing. Because if we are going to act like this, they will be always in a formal behavior. Lawyers, parties. And think about, parties don't want the war, most of them. Litigation war. Lawyers want war. We want to help parties. Lawyers don't want that we help them. And everything is changing amazingly fast. Mediation is little baby in comparison with artificial intelligence, which is coming so fast, and software can produce judge decision with 87% of punctuality right now. But what artificial intelligence cannot replace human relationship, empathy, communication, understanding, nice words, caring. We need the parties. You will see, they don't need us. Lawyers need us because they are making business, filing the suits, and we are caring too much about them. And when you are saying lawyers, try to think about, there are only few lawyers in your work that are problematic. They are minority. Is it true? So, most of the lawyers are professionals who are working their job. And they don't know to do anything else. And they don't know too about mediation. And they scare about mediation. Most of the judges are fear of mediation. Why? Because it's something different. It's something they don't know about. They don't understand. They fear that mediation is an attack of professional identity. There are many non-lawyers in mediation. Why? Who are those guys, mediators? You know that in human history, even today, in our small towns, villages, people with a high authority, reputation, old guys, priests, they solve many problems between people, between neighbors, without law, without courts. They don't need law degree, and they are very good in it. And start, please, to think that whenever you put the law between two persons in a conflict, you create Chinese wall between them. So, when people come to us, to the court, so I'm just right now, I'm trying to open the window of what we are really doing, how they perceived us, and to openly talk about that. Because about these topics we are usually not talking at all. So I'm sorry in advance if I offend anybody with some of my thoughts. I'm not here to convince anybody in anything. I'm just here to share my experience and my views, and it's not just my views. So, when lawyers file the lawsuit and come to our courts, it is the same like declaration of war. It is the beginning of civilized version of the war in our courts. And psychologists teach us that the lawsuit is the highest expression of distrust and betrayed. Can you imagine? Distrust and betrayed. And we are doing with such things, and we even don't think what lawsuit means. And that moment is so inappropriate for suggesting mediation, peace, negotiation. They are in a fight mode. They hate each other. They are enemies. And they had a small problem, conflict, and we as a profession, we did everything to escalate that conflict. Why? So they disagree, then they use bad words, then they yell to each other, then they stop to communicate. And because it was important for them, they went to the doctor for the disputes, lawyer. Lawyer has only one tool, hammer. If you have only hammer, every problem looks like a nail, and you will nail the dispute to the court. And people come to the court, and they come to our buildings, which is very formal, detector, police, corridors, courtrooms. We are sitting on the higher benches. Everything is ritualized. Everything is strict, everything is formal. They don't understand a word from us. They don't sleep night before our hearings. They believe in their lawyers, but they don't understand them at all. Lawyers don't talk with them. Lawyers don't explain them anything. Lawyers made from the life problem and the business problem, they translate it on the law language and they create legal position, which means lawsuit. There is no legal problem in real life. We create legal problems. And people don't understand us at all. We are strange people to the lawyers, to the everybody else who are not lawyers. We are strict, we are formal, and we think that all problems can be solved by the law. And that parties are enemies, and that only person who can solve the problem is judge, and that only place where the problem could be solved is court. It's not true. It's not true. We will be here forever as judges, as courts. They will need us forever. But for many people, this is not the place for the humans. If we do not change something, And we will talk today and tomorrow, what can we do from the moment that disputant party come to our courtroom until to the end. And how we can connect that with mediation right now when you cannot mediate. And I agree, if you can mediate, you will be much more interested for mediation. And from my point of view, fight for that. Please, try to make law that judges can mediate. But do not allow all judges to mediate, please. Just to those who have this in themselves, because otherwise mediation will be ruined. So, they teach us that litigation experience for ordinary people is one of the worst life experience you can experience. Did you ever, or have you ever tried to be a witness or a party in any litigation, you personally? Did you? How did you feel? Look at the expression. And we are doing to the people every day. It's a kind of paradox, you know. We are doing our job professionally on the best manner in the sense of the law and our profession, and we are harming people every day. And we will come to that why. And you too like so much to say, we have no time. 50, 60 cases per day. Try to think about it. It means less than 5 minutes to each. So, what we are doing? 3 minutes for each party. And those people, believe me, put aside the lawyers. For the lawyers, litigation is game. It's a fun. It's entertainment for them. But for the people behind them, it's not the game. They have a huge life or business problem, and they are trying to come to us that somebody finally listen to them, understand them, and help them. And they want the moment when they can say to the judge what they think it is important. But they never get that moment. Why? Because we are not doing on that way. We did that all time differently. We have no time. You will see very soon, if we do not find the time for them, they will not need us. In Croatia, we are a small country. And I am among rare judges, but there are more and more like me. We have huge decrease in number of the cases at the courts. I start my profession with 1,200 cases, so I know what to be busy. But today, we have fewer and fewer cases, but not because our efficiency, but because people don't want to go there anymore. Who would like to experience such a worse experience? And I assure you, we will see tomorrow from me, maybe something today from Arthur. We can make individually and together that experience become more pleasant than today for everybody. And we will see how, including refer the case to mediation and why. You know, of course, the first you need very quick education about mediation, about communication, conflict management, negotiation, everything. And then, if you are going to like it, you need to start to believe it. If you don't believe in mediation, or if you don't believe that you can change anything, you cannot do anything. You can just go home and continue to do things like you did all the time. So, if you don't believe in this, you cannot convince anybody to start with this. And if you don't change your behavior in your courtroom to be more open, to be more transparent, to be more direct, to be more human, to hear, to talk, to understand persons in front of us with the big life or business problems, I cannot do anything. So, I would like to stress the point that we are not here, all us together, to fight with the old, with the tradition of our judiciary and the courts and the legal profession. We are here to building a new, beside the old one, and to combine together and make more and better system. And I believe, and believe me, it is possible that all of you go again to your courts every morning and singing. Right now, you are not feel like that. You are feel overburdened. You feel pressure from everybody. Ministry of Justice, inspection, parties, lawyers, whole society are looking on us, and they are blaming us all the time for all problems in our societies. Is it true? We didn't create a single dispute with which we deal with. Yeah? Is it true? And they put whole responsibility for all problems to our hands. And we feel sad, tired, scared, responsible. That is not our disputes. So the new trend in all professions, especially in the legal one, is bring back responsibility for disputes to those who are the owners of the disputes. So, one of the most important principles in mediation is parties are owners of their dispute. Can we accept that? They are owners of their dispute. They created it. They only know what really happened, and they know the solution for their dispute. But somehow, we as a lawyer, legal profession, we decided to pretend that we know better solution for them than they know. We don't. When the party come to the lawyer asking for help, they don't ask for a lawsuit. They ask help to understand, to make some actions toward solution, not toward the fight. But they don't know anything else than to start the war. If I tell you, give me those glass of coffee, you will say to me, off, Srdan. But if I tell you, please, would you be so kind to pass me a glass of coffee? It's totally different. So believe me or not, we have a power to act on all others with changing our behavior. You know, if somebody say to you, good day with smile, you say, good day with a smile. If somebody say to you, good morning, you say, good morning. If somebody blame you or use bad words to you, you will use back. If someone try to hit you, you will hit back. So if they are faced with our formal closed behavior, they cannot go through it. We need to do something to open the windows, the doors for them, because it is their life, their destiny, their dispute. And they are experts of their lives and their businesses. When they come to the lawyer, I know that probably you didn't think about a lot. They never said whole truth to the lawyer. Never. It's a human, how to say, characteristic that we always try to look better in the eyes of the others. And lawyers ask them, please tell me whole truth. I can lie for you in court, but I need to know all truth. I can defend you, but they never say. They say just those fragments which support their version of the truth. The same to the other side. And the lawyers are very happy with their lawsuits. It looks nice, it looks with good chances, but only with the information they have from their parties. They have no at least half information. And they are totally surprised when they get answer on the lawsuit. Totally. And you too. When you get the lawsuit, it looks, oh, it's okay. And then answer, oh, what is this? And then they keep that false legal position. And they are fighting without trying to change them. And they are waiting for us to decide. And we are, think about, we are the less informed person about the case. The less informed. Everybody lie in front of us. Why? Because they know that we are here to decide who is wrong and who is right. And they don't want to exchange information. They hide, they lie, they don't tell us the whole truth. And our decision looks like a puzzle without many pieces, with a lot of holes. And nobody is satisfied with our decision because it's not a reality. We didn't ask anything seriously the party in front of us. What really happened? We just ask them what is legally relevant. We are so good in doing that. We are so good in recognize legally relevance in anything, in life, in everything. But everything what is legally relevant is totally irrelevant for people's life. And we will talk tomorrow about what to do with this. So, parties in front of us are faced with the formal procedure, with court rituals, with foreign language, with long procedure, with total uncertainty. Even we don't know what will be decision until the end. Totally risk, total expensive. And can you imagine how, let's say, business people feel with us? They need solution yesterday, but we are offered them solution for 5 years. What kind of value we are offered them? I know many occasions where people succeed with litigation, but never paid, because the other side went to bankruptcy. It is whole game of the lawyers again. I would like to show you one short film, 2 minutes. It represents how changes are fast in Formula 1 competition. You will see the moment when the car went to the box to change the tires and refuel and everything else in 1950 and then 2013. And then we can talk about and how we can compare it with our situation. Please, a little bit of patience. So 1950.
But Holland comes in for a pit stop. Time to refuel and change tires. Newmore himself changes the tires. Only 4 crew members, including the driver, are allowed to work on the car. It's a tense time. Holland stays in his seat, anxious to get away. Let's watch. Tires are changed to black. A crewman polishes the windshield as Holland moves away just 67 seconds after he stops.
67 seconds. And now 2013. So, less than 3 seconds. What do you think? Why they make such changes like that? Why? And do we need some changes? So we definitely, I don't know with this. There is no two-door here. Okay, so I can do that, I think. I like to not use PowerPoint, but sometimes I use it. Okay. Nothing. So, but I don't see this, you know, like here. I don't know.
It's only there.
How? I can't see it.
Move the mouse.
True, like this.
Okay.
Click. No?
Yes, very good. No, see, I think to look up there. Okay. So, from my point of view, and things are happening, we as a profession, as a system, we need to adjust to the modern times, to the needs of the societies, of the people, and especially to the business people. I didn't hear what they think until I become a mediator. We as the judges, you know, nobody come to us and say anything about our profession, about us, because they scare. But in mediation, where everything is informal, where everything is safe, where there is no judge to decide, they are totally open. And what I have heard about what they think about us, it is horrible. And all stories about our corruption is actually invented. I think there is small percentage of corruption in every society, but because we treated them badly, they don't like us. Imagine when you come to the doctor who talk with you 1 hour before decide how to help you, with the smile, with understanding, with empathy. You like that doctor very much. When you go to the bank or post office or to mechanic, imagine that they say to us, to you, "I'm sorry, we have no time for you. Next." So we are the same. Somehow we became blind of what we are doing. We just know that we have 50 hearings today, that we have 1,000 cases, and there is a pressure of monthly and annual norm, and somehow we forget to care. And you know that we are so happy when we write decision and when we sign it and then send by the post to the parties. We are so happy, but we never know the consequences of our decision, never. And there is no such a thing in any dispute in which one party is totally wrong and the other side is totally right. But somehow we are doing that all the time, because law approach is totally different than the life approach. And mediation is invented not because people love mediation, but because people are not happy with judicial systems. Too fast, too antique, too expensive, too long, too uncertain, and too uncaring. Maybe we cannot become too fast, but we can become caring persons. And we'll talk about this tomorrow. So, if we continue with the same approach, nothing will change. We can agree about that. So, the other side, you know, people like to use a term justice. Ministry of Justice. But try to think about what is the first lesson in the law school in the first year. The justice and the law is not the same. I hate that even today, but I understand that. And people come to us searching for the justice. But justice is always subjective. There is no objective justice. And they think that we can provide justice until the moment they lose. After they lose, they blame us. That we are incompetent, corrupted, crazy, everything. But they put their destiny in our hands and then they blame us. And the lawyers who promised them victory, they try to find excuses, blaming us. Even they know that they started with a lawsuit without any chances to win. And it's time that we start to talk about it among us, with the parties, with the public, with everybody. People have total wrong expectation from us, and they don't understand what we are doing. And because they have no voice in the courtrooms, they feel disrespected. And every research, modern research today show that every profession, if want to be successful, cannot rely anymore on knowledge and skills of own profession. So, to know the law is not anymore enough to become successful judge or lawyer. And mediation is a multidisciplinary set of knowledge, in which is the most important communication skills. Among communication skills, the most important is listening skills. I know you think, all judges think, that you are the best listeners. We are selective listeners. If I give you a test, you will see you will be poor listeners. We are listen only what is legally relevant. Everything else we don't want to accept and want to hear. I remember my father, who recently died. He was a respectable person in his town. He was owned a firm, and he was a director, and he was 3 times at court. Different 3 courtrooms, different 3 judges. And they never allowed him to tell what he means it's important. Judge, but I would like to say, I didn't ask you anything, but it is, I am warning you, but go outside. So, what happened with us? Why we think that is the superb performance of judging to be supreme beings over all the others? We are just humans like everybody else. And don't please, maybe it is not possible to show our humanity in every case, with every party, with every lawyer. But try please to not be fear of your human side. People will appreciate that a lot. In mediation, one of the feedbacks I like the most in mediation program in my court is mediation in this court bring me back the faith, trust in Croatian judiciary I lost totally before. Why? Because total different approach, environment, communication. There is no courtroom but a different room to talk. There is no judge to decide. There is no need to fight. There is no need to accuse, blame, attack each other. There is a chance, they get a chance to sit again at the same table, start to talk without judging and without fear of who is going to decide is it wrong or is it right. One of the amazing things in mediation is it's not important who is right and who is wrong. Can you imagine that? We are so obsessed as the lawyers who is right and who is wrong. But there is no such a thing like right and wrong. It's always in our mind. And all of us are humans. We have a lot of commonalities, but all of us are totally unique, different, and we have a right to think differently about the same thing. And we express our differences every day. And we show with that our value system, internal value system, and we are fight for them. And people in the courtroom, they are fighting for their version of the truth. They don't want to lose. They don't want to win. They don't want to win. But actually, everybody loses in the courtroom. Very often, including us. You know, how do you feel when the court settlement occurred in your courtroom? When the parties finish everything with the settlement, no appeal, no Supreme Court, no Constitutional Court, just everything is the end. You didn't write decision, you didn't take side, you feel useful, relief, happy. And in mediation, that is very possible. Mediation is not magical to solve all problems, but can solve many problems. But we need a different set of skills and knowledge to approach the people, but first be human with them. This is something what is can be funny or interesting. We need to start to think how parties see us. Look at this. From their point of view, we work slowly. We do not have time for them. We do not listen to them. I remember the person came to the mediation and he said, Mr. SIMAC, you know, my litigation lasts 3 years and nobody asked me anything during all 3 years. Another case, the party came to the mediation and said, Mr. SIMAC, my litigation lasts 4 years. Nobody listened to me any time. And you are the first who listened to me, and you are the first judge who listened to me. Even I'm not the judge, but I'm mediator. Or third example, 8 years of mediation. First degree court decision, appeal, come to my court, appeal court, and they start with mediation. Believe me or not, appeal court is amazing for having mediation. And in mediation came 2 directors, 2 lawyers, and after a half an hour, they admitted to me, you know, Mr. SIMAC, we have to admit you that all these 8 years we didn't talk to each other. So what we are doing in litigation, like what we do with the 2 small kids in a quarrel, divide them, every one of them in own corner, and we think that we solved the problem. We didn't. We just made it worse because they didn't talk what happened, why it happened. They didn't say, I'm sorry. And we are doing that in courtroom. We cannot talk directly with the parties, or we think we don't. We can talk with the lawyer cannot talk with the other party. It's whole system of making parties distant from us. We don't like emotions. You are not going to cry in my courtroom. Go out, let's cry and go and come back. We are looking on all many parties as a problematic or difficult. We don't even think that they have difficulties and they have problems, and because no one wants to understand, to listen to them, they became problematic and difficult because they are showing and sending a message in the wrong way that they are in a problem and that they need help. Remember yourself when you are in conflict. All of us can become like a beast. So they are in a war mode and they have to right to be hard, anxious, frustrated, mad on all of us. And we will see tomorrow how simple moves can change everything without laws, without reforms, without fear. And you will see what you can implement from your side. So, there is an amazing book called Paradox of Power. I was at some conference and keynote speaker is the author of that book, Paradox of Power. The idea behind is that we cannot gain respect with exercising the power. So we are trained to exercise the power in our courtrooms. And we think that is totally right, legitimate, and okay. But we think they trust and they respect us. They don't trust us because we are the ones who have to decide about their life, and they don't respect us. They fear us because we have all power of the state to force them to do something. All of us cannot define who is a professional expert outside of the legal profession. When we come to the engineers, doctors, accountants, it's the same with the parties. They don't know who is among us better or not good. They expect from us to be experts in law. What they really need and expect from us is relation. That book said that only with the caring behavior, with the respect, with showing a dignity, with showing empathy that they have a huge problem, both of them or more of them, that we can gain respect and trust. And if we put ourselves in that position, and if we find a time for them to say even something what is not legally relevant, but what is important just for them, because this is their life, their case, not ours. You will see, they can easily lose the case because they felt everything was fair. And someone called fairness that fairness tastes like chocolate. And everybody likes chocolate. So, how did we see parties? You know the joke. Judge occupation is amazing, but just without parties. Doctor said, doctor job is amazing, but without patients. Professors said, amazing job, but without students. And you know, I see on your faces, you are the happiest when parties are not in the courtroom. Of course, because we have only problems with them. With the lawyers, everything is like that. 2 brief exchange, we stay as we said before, and everything is finished in 3 minutes. My son has finished the law school recently, and he went to the law office for 3 weeks. And he sent him 3 times to the court in Zagreb. And it was just like that. 3 minutes, 5 minutes. And he said, Dad, I will never go to the court again anymore. Why? Nothing has happened there. Nothing. So, can we start to think about this? Can we start to work for the satisfied, not for dissatisfied parties? Can we start to work for the people who can call us afterwards, my judge? The lady from the Canada judge, she was also, has amazing personality. She started to talk about how judges should conduct in the courtroom. And she said just that, I remember, we improved that so far. They don't sleep the day before hearings. And they are, how to say, they are faced with whole this ritual and form and strict people, and they are scared, they are frustrated. You know, when they want to say something in front of you, lawyers are with the legs behind the table, beat them, shut up, all the time. They don't exist in litigation. They don't exist. How we call them? Plaintiff, defendant, accused. There is no Srdan SIMAC. I have a name. I am a human, I am a person. I have a problem. See me, please. Help me, please. No one wants to help me. And you will see, if you create a different environment in your courtroom, how it's possible to change everything. Probably you will face with a lot of unsuccessful attempts. Probably you will face with the recusal, how to say, request. What's recusal? You don't care. One recuse and one attempt to recuse you, and you quit I don't want to do this because there is 2 recusals, I feel bad. What? How many recusals is accepted? Small percentage. It's usually when you ask recusal, not when the lawyers. Fine. Yeah, I am open for all requests from you to my refusal, and all of them will be refused. In Croatia, it is possible. It seems that it's not possible to you. When I am faced with the request for recuse myself, I can say, we are going to have a 30 minutes pause of the litigation. Then I go to the president of the court. He or she immediately make a decision, refusal denied. And I came back after 20 minutes and we continue with. And this lawyer never tried to do it again. Never. And you need to find a way how to address party directly beside the lawyers and to stop fear of interfering in a lawyer-client relation. Because the parties are the only owners of their disputes. Very recently, I was phoned by the party who was trying to have a mediation at my court. And he called me and he said, I would like to try mediation, but my lawyer doesn't want. Okay, I said, I know that I cannot interfere in your relation with your lawyer, but I would like to ask you a few questions. Okay, he said. I asked him, whose dispute is this? He said, mine. Okay. Who has issued legal authorization to represent whom? I gave him authority to represent me, okay? And last question, who paid whom? I am paying him. So, who is the master, I say? Oh, I am. So, they have a fear of lawyers because they are authority. They convince them that they will make a victory. And they fear of us, and we fear of them. Can we stop that fear and be what we are always be, professionals and human persons? We can use our power when it is necessary. We will be faced with a lot of nasty people or rude people. Maybe they can deserve, they deserve our power, but usually most of them don't. You can be just like this. Never allow yourself to raise a voice in your courtroom. You are losing authority. When people is shouting, yelling, they are not yelling on us. They are just expressing how harmed, sad, painful are they. And they don't know what to do, and they become frustrating, they're red, and they start to yell. Just be calm, and don't yell back or say, you are not going to use those words in my courtroom. How many time we need? Okay, so 1 minute, 1 minute. Yes, so I will, at the end of this part of the session, I will tell you a true story for the courtroom. And this is a pretty impressive and very connected with what we are talking about. You know, that seminar is, the name of this topic of seminar is commercial mediation, but actually it's not true. They invited us to introduce you mediation, some sense or principles or main parts of mediation that you can just understand more, and to explain you from our experience, why do you use that in your courtrooms, or why do you refer cases to mediation? So we are not going to talk too much about commercial, but we probably will have some commercial disputes examples. This one example, maybe the others would be not commercial too. This is one from the family mediation. You know, for those of you who are dealing with the divorces and other family disputes, there are some of the worst cases in human life or your practice. And litigation is totally unsuitable for them. We are harming them. Can you imagine? We deciding whose child will be. It's a disaster. And we are not allowing really them to decide. So this is just like that case. So they are fighting in the room. They are yelling to each other. They were using bad words. They lawyers too. And because they lost control, at some point the judge lost control too. And he or she said, "Shut up right now." They calmed down, and let's say he, because I'm talking, so he said, "Okay, I would like to ask one question to both of you. First to the mother. Mrs., I am wondering, do you love your child?" Mother said, "Judge, what kind of question is it?" "Of course I love my child." "Okay," judge said, "and you, mister, as a father, do you love your child?" He said, "I would give my life for my child." "Okay," judge said, "I realize that both of you as the parents love your child, but me, I don't love him. So, why do you put the destiny of your child in my hands if I don't love him?" They look at each other with their lawyers. They asked to go outside of the courtroom. They made agreement, and they come back in the front of the judge, and judge made a decision according their agreement. That's our role. So we can do much more than you think in our courtrooms, and inspection will have a task to protect you, to not harm you with such a behavior. Can you promise us that? Okay, I see. This is a serious topic. I see that you have serious faces, right? You are thinking about this, and later we can talk about this, or ask as many questions you have. Of course, there is a lot of obstacles, a lot of problems, a lot of restrictions, but most of restrictions are in our minds. No? I will repeat again, you are the masters of your courtrooms, and to doing this is not forbidden by any law. Actually, there are many provisions which says judges have duty to actively help parties find settlement if it's possible. Of course, all of you will decide how far you are going in that direction. You can start with the small steps. Do not quit when first obstacle will be in front of you. Start again, start more, and you will be every day more capable to doing that. If you feel, or if you like, that you want to become mediators, you have already that in yourself, to start doing that and to start preparing even for your new mediators' roles. And you will see, judges can be the best or the worst mediators. But if you have this in yourself, you can become the best. And I see in your faces and your comments, a lot of you or all of you have something in that sense. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here today. Thank you. We have, I think, 1 hour for a lunch.